This is a video about shopping. I don't want to sell you anything, so relax. I want to talk to you about how you can find one of the best products that fits especially for you. And this video is about knowing your own needs and how you can figure out your needs and why this may be important for you. Hey everybody, my name is Stefan, and in this video I'll talk about stuff I use, gadgets and love, and everything that makes my life easier. Talking about making my life easier, this is exactly something when I go out and think about stuff to buy, and especially what to buy. The thing is, the best product might not be the best product for the use case that you actually want, or at least not the cheapest product that you can get. So there's also a little bit about saving money and just buying what is reasonable for you. I'll walk you through some examples, and this will make it very much clear, I think, what my point is here. So let's maybe start directly with the first example. And the example is laptops. When you buy a laptop, it's very important to actually know your needs. And this is not just knowing which brand you want to get or which size you want to get, but also what you want to do with a laptop and which laptop actually best fits that needs and what is completely overkill, basically. So let's say you're a student and you want a new laptop to take notes at a lecture. So I think that's pretty reasonable. Most students probably will take notes with a laptop because typing is just a little bit faster than writing, and the notes are searchable and so on and so on. It's a good idea. Now, if you just need a laptop to take notes, you have very, very different needs than, let's say, someone who edits videos, or someone who games a lot on his laptop, or who codes on his laptop. And knowing these different needs is crucial in order to get the right laptop to fulfill your needs and not pay extra. So if you're a student and want to take notes on a lecture, you will probably need a laptop that is light, has a good battery life, and has a good keyboard, let's say. And this will allow you to actually take notes fast, don't run out of battery, and don't hurt your back that much if you carry it around all day. And while, for example, some kind of MacBook Air would obviously fit the bill in terms of it would solve all your needs, it might be way too expensive if you don't plan to use it for anything else. A Chromebook might be way better for you in terms of what you get for your money, because if you don't need all the other stuff that the MacBook actually provides, then you can save quite a bit of money on that part. And while this may sound obvious, you can actually translate it to loads of stuff in your life, just figuring out what you really need and cut down on the things you don't need and make sure you do have what you need. So for example, the kind of guy who games on his laptop in his dorm room and basically never takes it to lecture anyways because it's way too heavy. Because they probably have this very beefy gaming laptop that chucks power without end, has a battery life of an hour or two. It doesn't make sense to bring it to your lecture. You have it in your dorm room, you game, you have a good time, and it's way more portable than a PC would be, like a full-featured PC would be. So you have different needs. If you're an editor and you do video editing, for example, you need either a very beefy laptop, or even depending on the editing program of choice, let's say you want to use Final Cut Pro, then you would need a MacBook. And depending on how big the footage is that you're editing, you either need a very beefy MacBook or a basic one would be totally fine. How much you want to pay, how much you want to carry, and so on and so forth. So figuring out what you need is really, really big in this space as well. Now, let's turn it to something completely different. Let's turn it to luggage. I've talked before already about how I chose my new luggage, my new carry-on luggage, and what were my needs and what were my wants. And this is a great example for this, because you can spend upwards of 1,000 euros on new carry-on luggage, and while you will get something more, there are quite a lot of diminishing returns in what you actually get for the money you spend more. And maybe the ruggedness you won't even need because you don't go off-road with your luggage. So it's very, very wise to think twice about what you want your luggage to do for you, how much you use it, and then spend accordingly to get what you need. And in my case, I spent a fair amount of money that was fair from my personal use case. And also in here, your mileage may vary. You might have a different budget for the certain things that you want to budget for, of course. And also this is important in figuring out what you need. So coming to the keyboard. You could get a keyboard for your PC like, this one. This is a Keychron, and this is a rather fancy keyboard that I will do a review on in the near future at some point. It's very heavy, it's a mechanical keyboard. It has lots of dampeners inside and everything to sound great. And it uses magnetic switches, which are exceptionally well if you want to customize them for different use cases, like doing office work, doing gaming, and basically being able to do both on one keyboard. But you don't have to not spend that much that I spent. But it's important to know what you want to use a keyboard for. You can't just go and pick like the top shelf keyboard and be fine with it, because there will be gaming keyboards, there will be office keyboards, there will be great Bluetooth keyboards that might not work for the thing you want to do actually. Some of them are optimized for productivity, some of them for portability, and you need to figure out what you want from a keyboard in order to actually get the right keyboard for you, if that makes sense. A question that might come up is, how do you find out what you really need? And if there are products that you have used and you want to have something new in that part, it's actually pretty easy. So if you are looking for, let's say, a keyboard or a laptop, you probably will have used the laptop or used the keyboard, so you know what you didn't like about your previous laptop or a keyboard, and you can accordingly decide what you want to get instead or where you want to have some improvements in that regard. And even if you can't really name what an improvement would be, so for example, if you look at keyboard and the switches below the different buttons, right, and you don't know anything about this, you can at least specify that you want a nicer writing experience, for example, and someone who is knowledgeable, who helps you deciding what to get in the shop, for example, will know what to actually recommend to you. But there's also the case if you buy something completely new where you don't really know where to start and what's recommendable and what do I maybe need and what I don't need. And you will have to do some soul searching basically to figure out what it maybe is that you're looking for, because nobody can just without knowing you recommend you fully fledged what you need to get. So for example, you want to get into photography but you don't know what to get. In this case, you need to do research. You need to figure out what kind of gear is there, what could I get, and what different use cases do these different kind of gears actually fulfill. And in order to doing this kind of research, you actually try to understand what different use cases there are and what you might want to do. If you want to do everything, you maybe need to spend a lot of money. But if you, for example, decide, yeah, I will never do bird photography, for example, and I will probably, I don't know, not do sports photography as well, you can reasonably decide against certain types of camera and lenses and so on, and focus on other stuff because you decide you want to do landscapes and portraits, for example. And this is quite nice because knowing this, you can make educated choices about what to get and what to optimize for. Because if you want to optimize for everything, this is the thing that gets expensive. Most of the time, if there are 10 big options, having 8 is fairly affordable. Having 9 of the 10 things right is more expensive, and having the 10th thing, this is the really expensive stuff, just to have everything right in a product, because that makes it expensive. Like being portable on a laptop, being portable, having great battery, great power, and being able to game and edit. Not much laptops actually are able to do these, and the ones that are super expensive. So know what you need and help yourself make educated choices in what you buy. Okay, this was a little rant basically. And some of you guys will say in the comments, yeah, this is the most obvious stuff ever. It's like, don't buy milk if you don't need milk. But I think a lot of people, me included, actually not always do this exercise. They set to get out, get a suitcase, and they just get a suitcase. They go to the shop and get the one mid-range from price without thinking so much what they really need. And they may buy the wrong stuff because they're not really considered what they're needing. So do me a favor, think about what you need and actually decide accordingly. Leave me a comment down if you actually have done this, if you have any questions, if you have any stories to share about where you did the research and what benefited you, or even if it didn't benefit you in some way. This might also be a really nice story to share if you're comfortable with. Yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, me rambling a little bit around. I tried to have some B-roll in this video. I hope this works. Otherwise, you would just have seen me for maybe 12 minutes. Yeah, consider subscribing if that is your thing of video that you want to see. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Goodbye.